Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Juan Carlos Lopez. I am coming to you from Mi'kma'ki. I am in the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people at Acadia University. I say this as a way to acknowledge the people who have been here from time immemorial, and I do that in a humble way, and I do that with a commitment to listen and then listen and then listen and then listen some more, so that I can learn the truth, and move towards reconciliation. So, in the spirit of the Truth and Reconciliation Committee recommendations, I say these words, and I express my commitment as an immigrant and a settler in these lands. I would also like to recognize that that people from African descent has come and been brought to this land for at least 400 years, and that's important to recognize as well. And again, I do this as a commitment to learn, to listen, to learn, and to move towards a better future for everyone. So with that, I would like to welcome our speaker today. Our speaker is Dr. Snyder. They are an assistant professor in the Department of Earth and Environmental Science at Acadia University. And one of the areas of research of Dr. Snyder is actually in making geoscience available and accessible to everyone, and that's what we're going to be hearing today. So that's all I have for the introduction. I will let Mo start the talk, and then we'll learn. Thank you.
Great. I will share my screen and then present. Okay, can you see that one, Carlos?
Yes.
Okay. Great. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming to, I hope, what is an informative but also kind of silly talk on how to go to the bathroom outside and why it isn't a big deal, and what we can all do to make it more accessible. So on the title slide here, I have a picture of one of the more luxurious field bathrooms, toilets that you can have, that includes a lawn chair with a hole cut in it and a toilet seat with a big hole underneath the chair. And then also what makes it really deluxe is that there's a bug net over your face. So this is what I would call an A1 field toilet. So the first thing I want to do is to have just a short little quiz, or a kind of getting to know you section. So if you can scan this QR code with your phone or type with your computer into this URL, and it'll take you to a little participant quiz. That would be excellent. And then what I'll do is I'll kind of put it over to the side if you're still scanning. And then I will. Okay. If someone hasn't scanned it yet, Juan Carlos, could you type the URL into the chat just in case someone hasn't received it? And then I will go up to this slide. Okay. So the first question I wanted to ask folks is why they came here today. Hopefully now you can answer. All right. Okay, perfect. So why did you come here today? It seems like a lot of you are interested in EDIA and this talk. When I gave a talk similar to this at a geology conference, most of the people put their hands up because they thought defecation was a hilarious thing to put in an abstract. So great. So it seems like you are all here for a great reason. Okay, so next is just going to be a word cloud where I'm just asking you to write a word or phrase that comes to mind when you think of going to the bathroom outside. You can participate multiple times. You can, I think, write up to 5 phrases, I think. Oops. Preach. Moss is your friend. That's a great answer. So it seems like a lot of the things I'm seeing in this word cloud are things that we are going to be talking about in this session. So that's fabulous. Arg my shoes. Yeah, that's right. Okay, perfect. So ticks, great. Leaf paper, great. Privacy, seems like privacy is a big thing, which we'll talk about. That's fabulous. Forgetting the TP, yes, that's always an issue. Okay, great. So this is wonderful. Thank you so much. We have, I think, a couple more. So choose all that apply to you. I've never gone to the bathroom outside to, I love going to the bathroom outside, and this is not an issue to me. Oh, submission locked. So you have 45 seconds. I put a timer on this one. Okay, great. So this is great. It seems like more than half of you are worried about using the bathroom when you're outside. So that's great. And so, and there's quite a lot of you who are comfortable going to the bathroom outside. So that's also great. Hopefully at the very end of the talk, you can provide any tips or tricks that I did not mention. And then finally, what do you think is the main problem with field bathroom culture? So this is writing words or phrases. And then we'll just kind of see what people say and discuss them. It's not talked about, avoidance. Yeah, that's right. Yes. Yeah, we'll talk a lot about people who stand versus people who squat to pee. Yeah. Not enough information. Hopefully we will change that. People assume you're comfortable. Thank you. That's such a great point. That's one of the things that are big with me. Embarrassment. Yep. Yes. Menstruation, accessibility, penises. Yes. Handling of solid waste. That's a great point. Yeah. Part of the population has it much easier. Not burying TP. Yeah. Okay. So it allows you to vote. I don't, if you want to thumbs up something, that's fine. But mostly I just, I'm appreciating all of the different questions. So that's fabulous. Okay, so that's all the questions that I had. So that's wonderful. And so thank you for participating. Now I have to figure out how to exit this. And then, great. Okay, so thank you so much. So it seems like a lot of the issues that people discussed or mentioned will be hopefully discussed in this talk. So just as a general outline is what is the problem, or is there even a problem? And then we're going to talk a lot about power and power levels when you're doing field work or when you're even just spending time outside. So there are 3 general levels of power when you're working in the field. Those are participants, leaders, and organizers. And we'll talk about tips and tricks for each of those individuals in turn, and what we can all do. And then hopefully there'll be time to have a discussion at the end. So this picture on the right is a coworker of mine worked in Syria and was working in a pretty remote area that didn't have a lot of vegetation. And so this tree was what counted as privacy where they were working. So this is not a very I don't think welcoming place to go to the bathroom when you're doing field work. So you can see the difference between the first picture I showed and this picture. So first we have to say what fieldwork is. So fieldwork is usually any work that's work-related activity that takes place outside. So outside your home institution, it can be going hiking, or it can be doing surveying or interviewing in an urban setting. It can be a one-day thing or a part of a day thing, or it could be a multi-day, multi-week excursion. You could be on a mine site, you could be on a field trip, anywhere really that you are where access to things that you usually require on a day-to-day basis are limited to not available at all. So this is an example of somewhere that I work in the field, where you can see there are lots of rocks, but not a lot of privacy. So why am I talking about this at all? What are my credentials? So first, I wanted to say that I don't do this work alone. My, I guess, co-captain is Dr. Marilee Reynolds from the Northwest Territories Geological Survey. And she and I have been able and privileged enough to experience fieldwork in lots of different places. So it includes desert areas, mountainous areas, mine sites, the tundra, the forest, which are all beautiful and wonderful, but there are also negative aspects to working in these places, including there's a picture of me on the bottom right where I was working in a very snowy place, and then the top left where there were so many mosquitoes and other biting insects that the idea of dropping your pants was not I guess, fun sounding. And finally, there's a mine site at the bottom where there were no outhouses or bathrooms available. So, and there's also large machinery. So there are safety issues associated with that. So what is the problem? The biggest problem is that going to the bathroom or not going to the bathroom can have serious health and safety hazards associated. And we'll talk about some of the most common ones, but it's not just, this isn't a big deal. It is a big deal because there can be negative consequences to not using the bathroom or using the bathroom in an unsafe way. So this can distract from learning or working objectives. If people are thinking about that they really have to poop, they're not going to be thinking about how interesting these leaves are that they're supposed to be drawing. And it can even become so uncomfortable or so worrisome that it is a barrier for participation. So in talking to students, I have spoken with some students who don't go into geoscience because they know that they're going to have to do a field school, and that field school will not have bathrooms accessible to them. And finally, it is an uncomfortable subject. Like, I've gotten to the stage where I can very comfortably say pooping or peeing in my day-to-day conversation, but I do get side eye from people. And so it is a bit uncomfortable. And so part of this work is trying to normalize the subject of using the bathroom outside. So I want to take a little bit of time to talk about some anecdotal experience or anecdotes from folks, and personal and from colleagues and from third-party accounts. So horror story time. So there are stories that we've heard of people who are restricting their water intake. So I'll start with something that happened to me. I grew up in the city in Alberta, and I did not come from an outdoorsy family. So the very first time I spent a significant amount of time outside was my second year geology field school in undergrad. And that was a 10-day trip in Jasper where we were not around anyone from 8 in the morning till 5 at night. And so at this time, I didn't know going to the bathroom outside was even an option. Like, I was that ignorant to this. And so I just didn't drink a lot of water. I felt uncomfortable. I just didn't drink water so that I didn't have to pee at all. And so after that 10 days, when I got back to Edmonton, I actually had to go to the hospital the next day because I had very large kidney stones, and I also had a UTI. So it was a negative consequence of not drinking enough water when I was in the field for a quarter or a third of a month. Also, with restricting water intake, I have a colleague who teaches a field course, and they just don't drink water during the day because they feel if they don't drink water, then they don't have to go to the bathroom, and then they can just work the whole day. And so it has never had a negative consequence for them, but that sounds a little bit intimidating to me. And in fact, I know someone else from a geological survey who doesn't drink very much water throughout the day and was hiking and actually passed out because they were dehydrated. And they were passed out when they were hiking on quite a steep slope. So it was a very unsafe situation. A lot of privacy issues can be associated with using the bathroom outside. So some people just don't feel comfortable because they don't want people to see them. And so we'll talk about some ways to work around that, but some examples that we've heard are people who've walked so far away from the rest of the group so that they could have the amount of privacy that they need. And they were so far away that they actually couldn't find their way back to the group. And because they didn't have a GPS or a map or anything with them, they ended up getting lost. So that's a very unsafe situation. And Another issue can be not knowing when to go. So this is probably one of the most heartbreaking stories we've heard. We know someone who led a short field trip for people from outside Canada, in which in their culture, talking about bathroom issues is very taboo. And so the field leader was someone who was very comfortable with going to the bathroom and so didn't discuss it at the beginning of the day. And then they just went the day, and then one of the participants ended up urinating themselves. And so it was incredibly embarrassing for that person, but also for the leader, not because they just didn't think about it. They assumed everyone was as comfortable as them, and it had this consequence, which was terrible. And then finally, wildlife problems. And we'll talk about some of them, but we'll round it out with another personal experience. I went to the bathroom outside in an area and I just didn't even think anything of it. I got up, I turned around, and there was a bear right behind me. So that wasn't safe. So that was pretty scary. And I also work in a lot of places that have a lot of ticks. And so I have known two different people who've had very negative tick experiences. One who got a tick on their butt or in their butt crack, embedded in there, and had to get it removed. And another person who dropped their pants to pee, and they were a squat to peer, and they had a tick on their vulva. So those are places you definitely, not like having a tick anyways is fun, but having a tick in those more sensitive areas is most people's idea of a nightmare. So again, lots of personal experience, lots of anecdotal experience, lots of just negative stories that we've heard. So another issue is that there's not a lot of peer-reviewed literature about this issue. So in our work, there's one in the geosciences. This is where most of our work is focused. So there's one article in Nature Geoscience about mental health in the field, in which they discuss lack of privacy as an impairment or as a barrier for some individuals. And you can, I guess, associate lack of privacy with going to the bathroom, because that's a place in which people want privacy. And then there's another article that is not a peer-reviewed article, but it is wonderful. I really recommend anyone read it. It's called Toilet Stops in the Field by the University of Birmingham by Greenadal. And a lot of what's mentioned in this document is taken from some of their best practices. So it's just a wonderful resource. So when we talk about the big issue associated with going to the bathroom in the field, that has to be health and safety hazards. So I talked about people's negative experiences, but if we want to discuss the actual sources for those problems, the first one is usually dehydration. People don't drink enough water because they don't want to go to the bathroom. This can lead to things like UTIs. It can lead to kidney stones. It can lead to constipation. It can lead to fainting. So these are all negative or problems that could keep you from work, or even make you go to the hospital. There's the safety issues, so isolation from the rest of the group, unexpected encounters with wildlife or machinery. And then also there's the safety issue of insects and other dangerous plants. So those can include ticks, black flies, mosquitoes, any biting insect or biting animal, I suppose. And then also your poisonous plants. So if you are using a leaf to wipe yourself after you pee in the woods and you don't realize that you're using poison ivy, that is a bad day for everyone. So this is another potential issue. So what's the solution? Obviously, we don't live on Arrakis, so we can't just wear suits that collect all of our sweat and urine and other bodily fluids that we can then drink again. Maybe this is something that'll happen in the future, but right now this isn't a thing. Unless you're an astronaut, but we're not all astronauts. So what can we do? So first thing we need to talk about is we need to talk about the different levels of power of people who work in the field and what their roles are. So the lowest level is that of a participant. So some examples can be a student. It can be just a general employee. It can be your children if you're going on a hike. It can be anyone who doesn't make decisions, really, is at the participant level. And then we have the leader level. And so these are the people that are the most directly involved in planning the day-to-day field work. So this can be a supervisor, this can be a field leader or a field trip leader, an instructor, a parent, a guide leader, anything like that, someone who's making the day-to-day decisions. And then finally, there's at the top of the pyramid, the organizer level. So these are the people with the money. So they include administrators, policymakers, anyone who makes the decision that trickles down to affect everyone. So the higher you are in the pyramid and the more power you have, the greater your responsibility is to improve bathroom culture. So let's talk about what to do if you're a participant. Most of us are participants, at least in some part. So if you spend time in the woods, what to do? First up is to arm yourself with information. So there is a wonderful YouTube channel by REI, which is the US version of MEC, pretty much. And they have a bunch of videos on how to poop in the woods, how to backpack when you're menstruating, what to pack in a bathroom kit when you're going on a multi-day excursion. They're really wonderful resources and they're free. And then there's also a little book called How to Shit in the Woods by Kathleen Meyer. And this is actually in its 4th edition. So it's been around for a while. And it also has lots of wonderful tips for going to the bathroom in places that don't have running water or aren't friendly bathroom places. So I wanted to have like a little bit of a sidebar because I think some of you and all of us at one point had no idea how to even go to the bathroom in the woods at all. So there's lots of techniques. You can use whatever works for you. So these are 3 examples of probably the most common poses that you can take when you're going to the bathroom. One is just a classic squat. So the tip with this one is to make sure your feet are very widely spread so that you don't but you have to make sure that you're in a place with very stable vegetation. And finally, if you have felled trees in the area, you can use a log as a balance to go to the bathroom off the side of it. So these are 3 great options. If there is, I'm sure there are others that work, but these are at least the ones that I use quite frequently. So next up is what to do if you are, you can carry with you to make your life more comfortable. So the first up is toilet paper. So bringing camping toilet paper is a good idea. As someone mentioned in the AHA, burying toilet paper isn't a great option in most places because it takes a while to degrade. So leaving toilet paper is not a great solution. One option, and I brought an example here, is to have toilet paper with you and then to pack it out in a baggie or a double baggie system. So I can't actually see myself, so I don't know if you can see this. If you can't, just let me know. But so I made my own little Ziploc bag and I duct taped it because I didn't want to see my own like poop stained toilet paper. But inside there's a second baggie that's filled with baking soda. And so that allows you to contain the smell a little bit. And so you put your used toilet paper in this baggie, close it, and then you put that in your other baggie that says used toilet paper so nobody goes looking for snacks. And then you close it up and you can carry it with you. If you are on a multi-day hike, you can have multiple baggies filled with baking soda so that when one gets especially stinky or full, you can close it and then have multiple bags in there. So that's a good option. There are also more what are called biodegradable toilet papers that take less time to break down, and those are an option. So I would say leaving no trace is the best option and sometimes the only option, especially in places like national parks where you're not allowed to leave anything. So that is one thing that you can do. A second is if you are pooping, having a shovel or a trowel is a really great thing to have. If you don't have a shovel or a trowel, you could use a large stick and you want to bury or dig out a hole for you to poop in. And that's because nobody wants to come across poop on their walk and it will break down faster. And then once you poop, you cover it back up with the material that you used to dig the hole. So again, you're kind of trying to leave no trace of usage. There is an option for folks who have to squat to pee, and those are stand to pee devices, which are like the bomb diggity. So I put a couple examples here and I brought some too. So one that I use, I love it. It's called the Pee Style. So it comes in this very fashionable bag that has a hydrophobic plastic stand to pee device that you hold underneath your where urine comes out. And then it just acts as a pathway for it not to splash on your shoes. It's a really great tool. I would suggest practicing using one of these in the shower before you go out into the woods, because like I have peed myself by accident using this without practicing, and you can too. So this is a really great option. The Pee Style, wonderful. A lot of people have heard of the Shiwi, I think, and if that works for you, wonderful. I would say the Shiwi is not my favorite because there's a very small hole to pee into, and I just am not that confident in my aim. So the Pee Style or the Freshette, which is at the bottom, left of your screen is another great option. The Freshette has a large funnel that you again stick underneath your vulva, for example, and then urine can come out, and it's wonderful. That one's incredibly comfortable. The only issue I have with the Freshette is that it's a little bit more bulky. So if you're doing a multi-day excursion where you need to have ultralight materials, a Freshette isn't awesome. Another one is the Peabody. So the Peabody is really great because it is disposable. And so I keep these in my first aid kit and give them to people as needed because they are just use it and go. So again, you'd pack this out with your toilet paper if you used any. The nice thing about these stand pee devices is that you don't need to use toilet paper because most of them have a little lip at the end. So after you urinate, you kind of just scoop it and then there's no urine left over. So you don't need to use toilet paper. So that's another great option. This, I have, my sister works in construction sites, and the urine, or the, what's it called? The things, the portable toilets, she's uncomfortable using them because they're quite unclean sometimes. And so she uses these in the toilet so that she doesn't have to squat or sit on the toilet seat. So again, these can be great for many situations. And finally, there's a urinal that has a closure, or a stand pee device that has a closure. And these are great for if you're camping and you don't want to leave the tent. Maybe it's cold out, maybe there's wildlife out there, maybe you're just lazy and you want to go pee. And so these are an option that you can close it to contain the smell and can not spill pee everywhere. I've also known people who use this on long drives if they have to go to the bathroom in the car and they don't have a place that they can stop. This is, again, a wonderful option. There's also pee cloths and portable bidets if you want to live a no to low waste lifestyle, and these are wonderful. So probably the most famous brand is the Kula cloth. I have an off-brand Kula cloth here. I just got it 3 for like $10. So they have a waterproof clean side that you hold, and then a antimicrobial surface on the other side that's absorbent. And then so you use this in place of toilet paper only for urinating, okay? And then once it's used, you can snap it closed like a little taco, and then you can hang it on the outside of your bag and it'll dry out in between uses, because so you can use this multiple times in a day. And so these are a really great option. Another is a portable bidet. So if you are pooping, or if you are someone who's comfortable using a bidet for everyday bathroom usage, these are wonderful. So they pack really small, you put water in them, and then you use these to clean yourself in place of using paper. So highly recommend. And if you are someone who menstruates, as most of you who do menstruate, or even some of you who don't, pads and tampons aren't great for lots of outdoor work because they are, you can't use them for long periods of time. They're messy. You don't know what to do with them if you need to change them. And so I would recommend trying a menstrual cup or a menstrual disc. These are great because you can get different ones that carry different volumes and also fit different bodies. So I don't have luck with menstrual cups, but I really like the menstrual disc, or vice versa. And there are so many online resources for how to insert these, how to find one that fits your body best. And so one of the more common ones is the Diva Cup. This is found in a lot of grocery stores. If you're going for a menstrual disc, the Nixit's great. It's made in Canada. And these can be worn for up to 12 hours. So they can be a good option. And they're also, if you do have a heavy flow, these are great because you can wash them when you're outside and then reinsert them as long as you have water to clean them. And they can be reused throughout the day. Finally, you can carry your own over-the-counter medication. So if you are someone who's prone to yeast infections, carrying yeast infection medication, Pepto-Bismol is a great one in case you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, or diarrhea, all of those things. Ibuprofen, if you get cramps, for example, and antidiarrheal or even laxative pills if needed. A lot of people experience what's called shy bowel syndrome, where their body physically cannot poop when they're not at home. And so having pills that make pooping easier can be a good option if you're away for an extended period of time. And finally, outside of carrying your own gear, it's really important to have a bathroom buddy. So this is someone that you are communicating with frequently. So you're in close contact with them and you just have a code. Be like, I'm going to pee. You turn this way. I'm going to turn this way if you need privacy. They can also kind of act as your bodyguard. So if you tell your bathroom buddy that you're going to go to the bathroom, they can bar the way for other people to come and approach you. And if you're in something like a course and you don't want to miss anything, they can be someone who's responsible for taking notes and giving them to you afterwards. The most important thing is to communicate clearly. So to just say to someone, I am going to pee here. Okay. And then everyone knows where you are. And that can be that's very important. And if you are comfortable, and I recognize that not a lot of people are, but if you're comfortable, it's great if you can ask your leader about bathroom access or code of conduct early in your field excursion. So now we get to the intermediate stage of the power pyramid, the field leaders. So these are the people that are making the plans and they are facilitating the field trip or backpacking trip or whatever. The most important thing, and they must do it, is to host discussions before and during fieldwork. So discuss bathroom access or lack thereof before fieldwork starts so participants don't go unprepared. If people know that there are no bathrooms, then they can pack their own toilet paper, pack their own other materials, or ask you to pack some so that no one is surprised. There's nothing worse than saying, like, when are we going to go to the bathroom and finding out that there isn't one. Incorporate bathroom culture into your daily safety meetings. A lot of people who work in the field have a safety discussion at the beginning of every day. And at those days, it would be great, or it is great to say, okay, today we're going into an area where there will be an outhouse at the beginning of the day, but there won't be another toilet until 5 p.m. And then if you are doing a multi-stop trip, at each stop, it would be great for you to discuss safe places to go. So one thing, if you are on a bus with many people, a leader can say, people who require more privacy, go this way. People who require less privacy, go this way. And so that you can establish a level of comfort. And there can be just if you just say at the onset of getting off the bus that we're having a pit stop, then everyone is more comfortable. If you're a leader, including the bathroom stops in your itinerary is also really important. People who lead field trips, for example, have to have some sort of itinerary, and in it, say if there are toilet facilities and when they will be able to go there. So that they know if they only have to go pee like a 3 out of 10, can they hold it for another hour, or do they have to go now? And if you're a field leader, it's important for you to think about this when you're scheduling your trip. So before you even go into the field, try to schedule bathroom stops into your day. If you're going from site A to site B, and there's a gas station on the way or a highway rest stop or a campground, consider stopping and allowing people to relieve themselves. And it's so important to tell participants when they can expect a bathroom break. So if I go down into a mine, there's no bathroom except for at the top of the mine and you have to take the elevator, at least I know I have 5 hours of no bathroom time and I can plan accordingly. And I would say one of the most important things, and something that we've been spoken to from lots of individuals, is that they feel like they're being a burden if they ask to go to the bathroom. So as a leader, don't make someone feel like they're inconveniencing the group. If your field trip is so time restricted that you can't stop for 4 minutes to go to the bathroom, that's an error in your planning, not on the person who needs to go to the bathroom. And it's important for you as a field leader to carry a fully stocked first aid kit that includes specialized gear. So don't assume that everyone who's a participant have watched my awesome talk. Have things like toilet paper, hand sanitizer, maybe some disposable pee devices in your first aid kit. If you're having people who may be menstruating, or even not, just don't assume. Carry things like pads in your first aid kit that, yes, those are something that once the pad wearer is wearing, they'll have to dispose of later, but it's not like you can carry 15 menstrual cups in your first aid kit in the assumption that you just give them away. So pads are a good option in that case. And then one thing that actually has changed my life in the past year are insect deterrents for places where there's lots of bugs. I had a thermocell, which is shown here in the slide, this summer when I was working, and the mosquitoes and the black flies were so bad, and the ticks. And the thermocell has a 15-foot radius. And if I had the thermocell near me when I was going to the bathroom, I was not bitten. So bug bites on your butt, on your genitals, just wasn't an issue, which it really was such a huge thing. So I cannot say, like, I don't know what weird toxins thermocell, probably terrible ones, I don't know, but it really is such a game changer for the comfort of going to the bathroom outside if you're not getting eaten alive by insects. And finally, what to do when you're a field organizer. So the most important thing for you to do is your job as an organizer to train your participants and leaders. So most field workers fill out field activity plans for the different sites that they're visiting, and make sure that their field activity plans include bathroom hazards or accessibility, and make sure those are discussed before all of the people are going in the field together. If you are an organizer, provide the specialized gear for the leaders to bring in their first aid kit, or provide gear for participants to take with them if they're going in a multi-day working trip. And finally, provide gear allowance for participants. Give them the money to buy things themselves. Some people, again, find it uncomfortable to say, oh, hey, supervisor Sophie, could you give me some toilet paper because I have to take a huge shit? Like, some people don't feel comfortable doing that. So give them the opportunity to purchase their own supplies. Some resources that are wonderful, and again, these are more geoscience focused, but there are lots for just a casual hiker or backpacker or whatever. But Advanced Geo is a wonderful website, and its whole mission is to empower scientists to transform workplace climate. So it does have tips for doing fieldwork and making fieldwork a more positive place, but it includes things like harassment and discrimination, codes of conduct, making inclusive spaces, working towards an anti-racist culture. And so there are lots of great resources on that site that could be good for you. And then this is for a more casual field user. So if you are going on a field trip with your family, and I say field trip like it's your job, if you're going hiking with your family, make it a little bit easier. You can just even ask yourself, okay, we're going to this place. Is there a bathroom? If yes, where is it? And when will people be able to go? If no, what am I going to do? What are the alternatives? Have a what to bring. So am I going to bring a stand to pee device? Am I going to bring toilet paper? And what is provided for you? So if you are working for someone, are they providing insect repellent or pain relievers or hand sanitizer, or is that something that you should bring? So that's all of the resources that I have provided. So I'd love in the last, I guess, 10, 15 minutes for us to have a discussion and for you to share experiences if you have them. Tell me if I missed something. I would love to hear it or answer any questions if anyone has them. You can email me if you don't feel comfortable speaking in the group, or it'd be great to have a chat right now. And that's it.
Thank you very much, Mo. So you can, mute yourself and ask your question, or you can type it on the chat. So the floor is open for questions.
I'm going to exit the sharing just so that, how do I exit this? End show. Great. There we go.
So if anyone has a question, you can use the reaction to raise your hand or unmute and ask a question. I'll start. Mo, I'm wondering, you mentioned that there isn't much in the literature. So how come?
I mean, that's a great question. How come? I'm not sure. My co-author Marilee and I are submitting a paper like today that's been through review that hopefully will be published in the next month. But yeah, I don't know, Juan Carlos. There has been work done by social scientists. There are some books that discuss using bathrooms in different parts of the world. But for earth scientists in general, there's just nothing. And I don't know if it's because it's taboo or what.
Yeah, so to me, I really like the way you frame it as a safety issue. I mean, it's part of the mechanics of doing the work, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I found that since coming to Acadia and teaching the field school, the first year, no bathroom things were talked about when I was just attending. And I had students say that they didn't know what to do. Again, like me, when I was a student, they had no idea how to go to the bathroom or where they could have privacy or what the options were. So yeah.
Heather,
Okay.
we see a question on the chat. Would you like to ask the question or would you like me to read it? Okay, so question on the chat. We had a Muslim student who was very uncomfortable going to the bathroom outdoors and would not drink water for the whole 35-degree days. Do you have advice on cultural, religious specific resources?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And it's difficult because I think the most important thing to do is to communicate and to normalize going to the bathroom outdoors, because once it's a normalized behavior, and if you are a leader, for example, and I say to my students, I'm just going to stop over there for a pee, you all continue on, then you're telling them like, oh, this is a great place to go. Or I have dealt with people who are just so uncomfortable that yes, they don't drink water. And yeah, it's hard. I really think the only thing that you can do in that situation is to communicate and to normalize that behavior.
Eva, would you like to ask a question?
Sorry, I'm getting to the unmute thing. Yeah, I was just I was also really surprised about to hear that there's a lack of literature on this. My experience was participating in outing club leadership training program in undergrad, and how to pee in the woods was a pretty big part of it. More from the leave no trace end of things than the safety end, I guess. But is there maybe, like, how does community development or other non-science fields that that do outdoor activities more frequently deal with this?
Yeah, so that's a great question and comment. That yes, I would say when I was talking about I'm talking about peer-reviewed literature. There's a lot of resources online that you can go to, and some of them I put in the talk, and they're super useful. I would say that oh, where was I going with this? Don't even know. I was just, yeah, there's lots and lots of resources. And yes, it is talked about. One thing I did notice is I went through a lot of, again, geoscience focused companies, and to look at their safety SOPs and their documents that they give to people about safety. And going to the bathroom was never included. And so some of the work we're trying to do is to actually speak to not just academia, but to schools and to companies, to be like, this is something, again, you need to talk to people about, because you can't assume that a new employee coming in will know the hazards associated with going to the bathroom where there's giant hogweed that they might run into. So yeah, there are lots of community resources and resources for folks who aren't in science. This was definitely built around the geoscience community.
So we are at 12:56, so we would have time for another question if anyone has a question.
And I saw that Ileana said that they're still afraid of bears. And I just wanted to address that, actually. That, okay, of the animals that you can run into in the field, I would say that bears are the least of, well, not the least, like running into a marmot, but like of the things that you might be afraid of in the field, bears are usually pretty chill, especially when you're in a place that you are you're not the person that is there all the time. It's the bears area, not your area. Because I worked in bear country for 5 years and had bear sightings every single day, and to the point where like the bear was within arm's reach of me, and they're pretty chill. I would be more nervous around like mountain cats because those things are sneaky. So being afraid of bears, the important thing with that is to work in groups, because bears will very, very, very rarely approach people if they're in groups of 3. So having a bathroom buddy is the big deterrent for that.
And it again comes back to safety and knowing and talking about it, right?
Yeah.
All right, so leaving the silence to see if somebody wants to ask a question. Danielle, go ahead.
Hi, thanks for this talk, Mo. It's so interesting. It's very funny. I grew up in a family of hunters, so like just peeing in the woods is just a very normal thing. But really interesting to hear about how it works out in the field. I'm curious if you have any tips about how to avoid certain areas that may be more prone for like ticks. Like, is there like things that you should like definitely don't pee there? There's a higher likelihood of there being ticks. Like,
Yeah, so don't pee in a juniper bush, because ticks love junipers. So yeah, that's a great point. So knowing places where some insects are more prone. So don't go to the bathroom in tall grass. Tall grass might seem like a great place because it's more private, but it's not great because there are more biting insects in tall grass. So I always try to find a place that has not a lot of vegetation at waist height or higher, and then you don't have those types of jumping or biting insects as close by. And finding rocky areas is usually quite good. So if you find you're beside a river, going on the point bar of the river is better than going on the cut bank in the vegetation. But yeah, and I think one thing is to do such a thorough tick check at the end of the day. That's something that not enough people do, that ticks don't usually embed right away. They kind of like move around trying to find like a hot spot that they can have a great time. And so if you do a tick check, a daily tick check, you should be good actually, because they wouldn't have embedded, or they would have just kind of, yeah, you can just kind of pull them off and it's not an issue. So I would recommend doing that. I tell it to my students every day, like do a tick check, check your hair, check your groin, check your armpits. Like that's the hot three.
All right, so we are at the end of our time. There is something that we do, and we invite people to just turn on their cameras and just wave, to the speaker if you feel comfortable. But thank you very much for joining us, and you will be receiving an email once we have the recording.
Thank you so much for coming. It's so glad to see you all.